You know, trying to get a handle on artificial intelligence feels a lot like exploring a brand new continent. It's full of incredible promise, but there are also some hidden dangers. So what we really need is a map for this journey, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
I mean, AI is already starting to change, well, pretty much everything. We're talking about powering economic growth, kicking off huge scientific advancements, and just improving our daily lives in ways we're only beginning to see, from healthcare to how we get around.
But, and this is a big but, with all that power comes a whole new set of risks. And these aren't your typical tech bugs. We're talking about systems that can make unfair situations even worse, with failures that can be incredibly hard to predict, let alone understand. And that right there is the big question. How do we get all the amazing benefits without falling into the traps? How do we actually create AI systems that we can fundamentally trust?
Yeah, this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got these incredible benefits, but on the other, those risks are just a different kind of problem altogether. They're not about simple software glitches. They're about amplifying inequality or creating failures that are super hard to even spot, let alone fix.
And that's really the key here. Managing risk in AI is fundamentally different than managing it in traditional software. The old playbooks, the ones we use for building websites or apps, they just don't cut it anymore when you have a system that can learn and change all on its own.
So what makes it so different, really? Well, according to NIST, it boils down to a few things. First, AI learns from data. If that data is biased or out of date, guess what? The AI will be too. Second, they can be black boxes. We get an answer, but we have no idea how the system arrived at it. And maybe the wildest part? They can develop what are called emergent properties, behaviors that are totally unexpected, things that no one actually programmed them to do.
So, to get through this tricky new landscape, we can't just wing it. We need a guide, right? A framework to help us make smart, responsible choices.
And that's where the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, or RMF for short, comes in. Now, a really important thing to remember here is that this is voluntary. It's not a law book. It's a guidebook designed to help anyone involved with AI manage these unique risks.
And the whole point of this entire framework, the end goal, is to build what they call trustworthy AI.
Okay, trustworthy AI. Sounds good, right? But what does that actually mean? It's not just some fuzzy concept. NIST gets really specific about what makes an AI trustworthy.
So it all starts with the absolute basics. Before you can trust an AI, it has to be valid and reliable. Simple as that. It has to do what it's supposed to do and do it well every single time.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You start with that foundation of being valid and reliable. Then, on top of that, you build these pillars. The system needs to be safe, secure, private, and fair. Then, you need it to be explainable. We have to be able to understand its reasoning. And then, weaving through all of it, you have accountability and transparency. Basically, we need to know who's responsible for it.
Okay, so looking at all those characteristics, you might be thinking, wow, that sounds complicated. But the good news is the framework doesn't just tell you what to build, it gives you a clear 4-step path to actually get it done.
And here they are, the 4 core functions: govern, map, measure, and manage. The expedition analogy here is perfect. First, you set the rules for the trip. Then you survey the terrain. Then you check your compass and tools. And finally, you choose your path. And it's a cycle you repeat over and over.
All right, let's break these down, starting with number 1, govern. And this one isn't even about the code itself. It's all about the culture, the people, and the rules you put in place.
Yeah, at its heart, govern is all about the human side of things. It means building a culture where people actually take risk management seriously. It means spelling out who is accountable for what. And it means making sure your teams have diverse backgrounds so they can spot problems from different angles. And this isn't some box you just check off. It's the foundation that everything else is built on.
Okay, so once that governance foundation is set, we move on to step 2, map. This is where you really get into the weeds of your specific AI project. Mapping is all about one thing: context. You have to ask, what are we really using this for? And who could it impact, for better or for worse? This is the point where you make that first huge call. Is this even a good idea? Should we proceed or not?
All right, so you've mapped out the context. Now, you can't just guess what the risks might be. You have to actually measure them. And that, of course, brings us to function number 3.
This is where the rubber meets the road. We're talking about using real tools to test the system. Things like running bias detection algorithms or stress testing it for safety and security, all to see how it stacks up against those characteristics of trustworthiness we talked about. And you have to track this stuff over time and document everything so you have a clear record.
Okay, so you've set up your governance, you've mapped the context, you've measured the risks. What's left? Well, now you actually have to manage them.
Manage is all about taking action. You take everything you've learned from the other steps, figure out which risks are the most serious, and then you make a plan. Are you going to try to reduce the risk or maybe avoid it completely? In some cases, you might even decide to consciously accept it, but the key is it's a deliberate choice.
You know, when you boil it all down, this entire framework rests on one really powerful idea. This quote says it all. Building AI we can trust isn't just a task for the software engineers. It's a shared responsibility for absolutely everyone involved. The people who build it, the people who sell it, even the people who use it. We all have to keep asking that crucial question. Not just can we do this, but should we?
So there you have it. The guide exists. The map for this new AI frontier is right there for us to use. The question isn't, can we build trustworthy AI anymore? The real question is, who's actually going to follow the map?